All right, so here we're supposed to find the sums, and I'm going to do this by the efficiency of grouping. And so I'm going to group the 6, the 6 and 2, and -3 and -7. So 6 plus 2, that gives me 8. -3 plus -7, again, we can just add their magnitude. 7 plus 3 is 10, and then prefix it with the negative. So that's going to be plus a -10. Now we can say, okay, well, the larger one is 10, and so we can take 10 minus 8, and we get 2. A larger sign has a negative, so that gives us a -2. Now again, we could have gone from left to right and done the same thing. 6 minus 3 is 3. Then 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus the opposite of 7, or -7, is going to give us -2, and that's what we get as well. So if you think just moving from left to right is probably best for you, that's fine to do as well. Or if you want to do grouping by efficiency. All right, so number 2. Well, this one basically, there's no efficiency in changing anything. It's just as easy to go left to right as it is to say, well, I'm going to add the first 2 and then I'm going to add the last one. So I'm just going to say, okay, well, let's go left to right and say add those together. Well, we have the like signs, so we just add their magnitude. 5 plus 3, well, that's 8, but we prefix it with that negative, and then we add 2. Now we say, okay, well, the magnitude is 8, and we're going to subtract the smaller one, 2. That gives us 6, but our magnitude that was larger had a negative, so that would give us a -6. All right, so the next one, you could do two ways. You could say, well, hey, I could say, let's add these two together, and that would give me a -34, because I would take 20 plus 14 would give me 34, and then I prefix it with the negative. Or I could say, hey, 14 plus a -14, well, this is just 0. 14 minus 14 is 0, and all it's left then is a -20. And I think doing it that way makes the most sense, because that gives me the 0, and all that's left is the -20. All right, so on the next one, we almost have that first problem again, but we have, different signs on the last two numbers. So again, we could go different ways about this. We could go from left to right, or we could go and do the rearranging. So let's go left to right, because, this one we rearranged. So this one's pretty similar, and we could just do a little bit different. So 6 plus a -3. So 6 minus 3 is 3. The 6 is positive, so it's a +3. Then we have plus 7 plus a -2. Well, now we have 7 plus 3. They're the same sign. 7 plus 3 is 10. And then plus an, -2. All right, so now we have 10 plus the opposite of 2, so it's basically 10 minus 2, which is 8. The larger one was positive, and so the answer is +8. Okay, a couple more. Well, this one is all positive, so we can just go from left to right, and we'd be good to go. We don't have to change anything. So we can take 9 plus 10, well, that's 19, then plus 2. And if you need to, go ahead and put them on top of each other and say, okay, 9 plus 2 is 11, carry 1, that's 2, and that would give us our 21 as our answer. And again, it's positive on every number, and so therefore we have the positive answer. Now this one, I don't know which way might be the easiest. We could rearrange for efficiency. We could say, hey, we see that if we work with those two, that's a small difference. And I could say, well, the larger is 18. The absolute value of -18 is 18. If I want to subtract off 15, which is a smaller one, I get 3. But I have to prefix it with that sign here, so it's a -3. Now remember, we're adding here, so we're going to add the opposites. We'll add a -3. Now we have two like signs, so we can take 6 plus 3, get 9, prefix it with our negative, and that then would be your answer. Now you could have taken 6 and 15 and added those together and then added the negative 18. Or you could have taken this negative 6 plus the negative 18 and got something and then subtracted 15 off. So any way works, but looking at it, to me, those two look pretty simple, and then that makes that pretty simple. Otherwise, you're going to work with, you know, a 24 if you're working with those, and then if you're working with those, you know, it's going to be bigger numbers. And so I just think going this way would probably be the easiest. All right, so again, I'll stop with this and come back.